Welcome, everyone. It's really a privilege to have the opportunity to be spending the afternoon with Steve Bernhardt. He is the event director with the Largest Mixer, and he has some fantastic information that he wants to share with all of you today about how to network effectively through an exhibit. And his event is very successful. There are 4 locations in which the Largest Mixer does its exhibits. And so here's a man who has a lot of experience in knowing what it takes for a person to be a successful exhibitor through these Largest Mixer events. I personally have been participating in the events for years. I've done the events with Steve at multiple locations, and I can really attest to his knowledge. I mean, this guy knows the nuts and bolts of how to present a successful exhibit at an event, and I think that the information that he's going to be sharing with you over the next few minutes will be critical to your success the next time that you want to put on an exhibit at an event, specifically at one of the Largest Mixer events. But Steve, welcome to our interview, and really looking forward to the information that you're going to share about how to be a successful exhibitor.
Terrific. Well, thank you, Guy. I appreciate it very, very much. Appreciate the opportunity. Yes, we have worked together on many of our events, and so, Guy, I appreciate your insight on our events, and we always love having you at the Largest Mixer. But I think that the most critical thing to I don't want to say critical thing to understand, but I was looking at a couple of marketing research studies recently, and one of the things that they found for what they defined as overachieving businesses, businesses that are performing above the marketplace, one of the commonalities that they found with these businesses is that they use event marketing as one of their primary marketing tools for customer acquisition. So if it's trade shows, community events, events like the Largest Mixer, getting their people, their products out in the marketplace in front of their customers, there's finding to be, one of the most effective ways to market your business. And that's an opportunity that we offer at the Largest Mixer. And so I'm hoping I can share some, for anybody that's thinking about involved in event marketing, can get their business out and do events. Hopefully we can give some insight on how to be more successful.
And there are rules of engagement that you found in being successful in doing event marketing. You have what is called the 25-25-50 rule for Largest Mixer success. Mm-hmm. And can we go over those? Let's start with preparation, 25%.
So the 25-25-50, if you add it up, comes to 100%, right? So 25, this is how much of the effort when you're going to do an event, when you're going to put your company out there in the marketplace and do an event. Again, if it's a trade show, community event, a business-to-business networking event like the Largest Mixer is, how do you allocate your efforts to be successful? And what I have found with talking with successful exhibitors at the Largest Mixer is about 25% of their effort is put in before the event, that event preparation. And that could be everything from training your staff to make sure you have the right staff people at the event representing your company. Can be messaging. What's the message you're going to cover? What's your purpose to be there? What kind of marketing materials do you need? If it's signage, if it's takeaways for people to hand out, those types of things. And then also an idea, you start to formulate too at this point in time, what you're going to do after the event to follow up with these leads and contacts that you make to develop those people into customers. So you need to take, again, this first 25% of your overall effort is before the events ever occurred. So when you have a purpose going forward, you have the tools you have going forward, you're trained and prepared and focused to move forward for the event. So, and we see this all the time, unfortunately, Guy. I see a lot of people that don't give much thought about, they're going to exhibit at the Largest Mixer event, which we appreciate very much. But we also get a lot of times where I can get sense from talking with them or whatever, is that they really aren't giving it a lot of thought until, days or sometimes even the day of the event. And I got to be honest with you, those people are not as successful as the people I talk with weeks, sometimes months in advance that are already thinking about the event. They're calling me on the phone saying, hey, what about this idea? What about this idea? Is it okay if we do this? You know what I mean? Those are the people I know that are going to be successful at our event, at least, because they're going to hit the ground running the day they get there. They got a purpose for being there.
And it's not enough to just be there, right, Steve? I mean, the context that you present your business and the way that you have developed a strategy for what you want to accomplish is so critical, in preparation, I would imagine, really lends well to that element of of success that you achieve through just knowing the road, knowing what it is that you want to get out of the event.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, think of it this way. If you're confused while you're there, imagine the people that are there attending the event that are coming up to you are going to be confused. you know, so, it's what you're trying to do is take the ambiguity out of it. You understand. It's interesting when I watch exhibitors, when I walk around one of our events, for example, and I do. I mean, you can see it. You can see the people that have come more prepared, have the more, the booths that are attractive, for example, or have the right materials, or have particularly engaged and enthusiastic people working their business at the event. There's always a crowd of people around. They're always engaging. They're busy, man. They're on it. You know what I mean? And then I walk by other places where they're kind of sitting on their chair, and it's a couple brochures, and and nobody's stopping by. I mean, so it's, again, now that preparation does lead directly to what I think the attendee of the event sees, and if it's if it's going to draw them to you or not. I mean, because like you said, it's that ambiguity. These people clearly project, here's who we are, here's what we do, and these people come and want to engage with them.
The second 25 is execution. Will you share more about the value that has in the success of your booth?
That's the event itself. I mean, that is coming into the event and doing all those things that you set up in that first 25% of your effort, right? It's now you've got your people, you trained your people, you said, this is what our messaging is. Now I'm carrying out my messaging. You prepared your marketing materials. Now you're distributing your marketing materials. You've got a strategy in how you're going to collect people's information to be able to follow up with them. So now you're collecting that information. You have prepared to answer questions. You have prepared to schedule appointments. Now you're executing it, and be honest with you, the execution part becomes very fun and very easy if you're pre-prepared to do it. You're relaxed, you're into it, you're having a good time. And again, the people that I see that come there who have given the most, that have gotten their company behind the event before they get there, are come in the door with a mission. They got smiles on their face. They're energized. They're having a great time, and so obviously you pay money for these things. I don't know, sometimes in trade shows you could spend literally tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're obviously not that expensive at the largest mixer, but you've made this investment. So now is when the rubber hits the road, and this is where you're getting your money's worth. You know what I mean? And again, those that are most prepared, this really becomes a very easy part and the fun part of the event. And for those, again, I see those that don't, they kind of struggle. They're kind of struggling. Like somebody comes up to them, oh, what am I going to talk about? You know what I mean? What's what am I going to give them? How am I going to get their, if it's a business card or or some kind of a contact information for a follow-up, you can just see them struggle. So again, now it's preparation. What do they say? Success is what? Preparation and execution meet, or something, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean? But it's like, so this is the time to deliver. This is the show. And again, if you're coming again well prepared, it's going to go much smoother, much better, much more effective for your organization.
Yeah, I guess, Steve, that the preparation lends to the execution. Just like you said, if you're well prepared, then the chances are you're going to be a lot more effective with your execution because you've already pretty much mapped out the way that things are going to go. And I agree with you. You go to these events and you see some booths just execute well. And one of the best measuring sticks is how many people are showing up. I mean, around your booth. And when you see that when people are having groups that are around them, that's a well executed booth.
Sure.
It's being run.
Yeah, we just did an event about 2 weeks ago, our LA event, and we had some exhibit. There was, first of all, there was great energy in the room, and it was just a great night. And kind of thinking after the fact, we did some things differently, but we put on our event, and I think we put on a great event. But really, it's the people in the room that make the energy, that really make the event successful. And it was a really successful night, and that's what I had to come back to is it just seemed like we just had a lot of exhibitors that came with enthusiasm and preparation, and it just fed. Everybody just kind of fed off of it. You know what I mean? And it just turned it into a great night for everyone.
So the last point, and it's actually half of your entire assessment of success with these events, and it's basically just a follow-up.
That's everything. I mean, it's everything. And the bottom line is I meet people that are associated with our event that are very successful. And what is the common thing that makes them successful is that they have a plan after the event to follow up with individuals, to start to build relationships. And they also understand sometimes building these relationships isn't going to produce in one day, a week, a month. I mean, it could take months, it could take years sometimes, depending on the industry you're in, for a contact that you made at a largest mixer event, for example, or a trade show, or anything else. Sorry, the phone was ringing here. Or anything else, but if you don't do the proper follow-up, it's really, you kind of almost wasted your time doing the event. And again, it comes back into the preparation. How are you going to reach out to people after the event? You got to have somebody answer the phone, please.
Customer.
There you go. So, how are you going to reach out to them? And I see all kinds of different creative ways that people do it, using things like YouTube, those types of things. There we go. Sorry about that. So that's a big part of it is, we talk to exhibitors all the time that do our events, and, I'll be on the phone with them and they'll say, I did a deal today with somebody I met at last year's event, and it might be 6 months, 8 months later. But again, if you don't have a plan to follow up with these individuals, to stay in contact and nurture these relationships, it's all the effort was for naught. And I don't care if it's a $100,000 trade show or you went to a networking event in a bar. If you don't come away from those events with the contacts you made, and you don't have a plan to follow up and nurture those relationships, it really all was a waste of time and resources. So that's the big part that I emphasize to people. When you hear these people that say, "Oh, I tried this, it didn't work," my first question to them is, what did you do after the event to nurture these relationships? And most of the time, they're speechless. They did nothing. They just kind of thought they were going to show up and something magical was going to happen. It takes work. And that's really part of it. So if you're going to be in event marketing, you're going to go out and you're going to make contacts. The bottom line is, at the end, you're trying to create people and create customers, right? Create relationships, create strategic partnerships, whatever you're out there trying to network for. If you don't have a plan after you made this initial contact to develop the relationship, you really have kind of wasted your effort.
And it is an investment, isn't it, Steve? I mean, you have to really look at it like you would any other investment. If you were investing in stock or real estate, you would do your homework. Then, of course, you execute the deal. And then you have to follow up on your investment. You have to keep track of your investment. And it's the same thing with this event marketing opportunity. Is you have to look at it as if it is an investment, which means it's got to be nurtured and it's got to be cared for.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. It's interesting. We'll put a lot of focus, like today in business, social media marketing. We get a company or we get businesses, they've got a plan of attack and they've got messaging and they got people that manage it and they've got all these things for social media marketing. Okay. Or maybe you're a business that uses other more traditional means of advertising. You're using radio, you're using television, you're using print, you're using outdoor. Most people have a plan for that, right? They schedule it, they budgeted for it. They've evaluated the artwork, they've evaluated the copy, they've spent all this time. And that's exactly the same thing you got to do with event marketing. You know what I mean? You've got to allocate the resources, you got to allocate the time, you got to allocate the mental energy, and you got to have a plan in place, you got to have goals, and you got to have a roadmap of how to accomplish your goals for event marketing. So it's really no different. I always say this should be part of every business's marketing mix. It's just another component. But again, if you don't do the follow-up, you don't execute and develop the relationships, it's just like you said, you got to nurture it, you got to pour water on it, you got to fertilize it a little bit, and it will produce results. But and some days it will produce immediate results. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, and sometimes it takes a long time. Again, it depends on your product cycle, it depends on your client base, depends on your effectiveness in following up. It can take time, but it's part of growing a business.
Well, this was some outstanding information that you shared, Steve, about how to be a more effective event marketer. I love that phrase, and this 25-25-50 rule, I think, is a very simple way for people to look at their strategy for how they are going to market for events. And how can people get in contact with you if they want to be a part of one of the largest mixer events?
Oh, we're very easy. You can go to largestmixer.com, or you can always give me a call directly at 310 862-2878, or steve@largestmixer.com. That's STEVE. Easy to reach. Please feel good to give me a call if you're interested in, if you haven't never done any event marketing with your company and are looking to maybe get started and need some advice, some tips. I think the Largest Mixer is a great way to a place to start. But I can also be more than happy to help you get some ideas. No, we appreciate the opportunity, and I do believe with, you know, our media has become so fragmented. There's so much clutter out there today. You know, I used to work in radio years and years ago, and we used to talk about clutter, right? You know, all the advertising messages that we're getting bombarded with, but that was before the internet. So now all of a sudden, now we've got the internet, and it's like the clutter has now been multiplied by 1,000,000 times, right? You know, we're getting advertising messages from all over the place. And so it's tough to penetrate to people, to make contact, to get your message out. And so what's one way that you can fight through the clutter? And that's to get physically face-to-face with people. And that's what event marketing does. And I really do honestly believe it's going to be more and more critical. That's, again, when we say these overachieving companies are seeing this and are getting out and doing events, is that's a way to break through the clutter and touch people one-on-one. People are looking for relationships. People are looking for people they can trust to do business with. And you know what? I got to be honest with you, a tweet, a radio ad doesn't build trust, but a handshake at an event, a lunch afterwards, that builds trust. And that's what event marketing offers somebody that no other advertising vehicle offers. And, you know, and again, that's what we offer at the Largest Mixer. So we appreciate the opportunity to talk about the Largest Mixer as well as just event marketing in general.
I agree with you, Steve, that there is a intimate relationship that you develop with a person when you actually physically meet them. And at these events, you get an opportunity to meet some amazing people and nurture relationships that can be extremely beneficial to your business. Again, thanks for taking the time to share with us about how we can be more effective as event marketers.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity. You keep doing all the great things that you're doing.
All right. Have a fantastic day.